Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? 7:21 in Chicago. It is the 21st of August. All right, what's moving? Energy's moving. All right, energy's not going to stop. We're going to keep this trade going on, guys. I'm telling you, XLE. Here we go again. More to the upside here now. 63.58. We get to 64.42 right now. We're taking another day up here on the XLE. All right, 64.25 was the highs yesterday, and we are just slightly above that right now. All right. Crude on the move, guys. Up another $3 this morning on your light sweet. All right. So there's your light sweet coming back inside here. Um, we're above there now. All right. So we're 87.55 right now. We're up $3.15, and we are up another almost 4% higher this morning. All right. And when you can look at the UCO, if you like to trade that one, that's the one that I'm in right now. Our group has been in the UCOs. This is the one we've been watching. You can see it's been kind of stalled out here in the last couple of days, and then yesterday puts out the big outsider, and now we're moving back up to the upside at 45.84, expanding to the upside again. All right, so we're going to be getting closer to $46 now. All right, so Yuko on the move here. Chevron. Here, just keep cruising along, guys. Stick with the energies. All right. So Chevron kind of gave up a lot yesterday at the end of the day, but it was no big thing. All right. It was a 3-2 back down, and then they were fighting back even at the end of the day. All right. So we're higher again this morning. Now we're at 208.23. If you're in this trade, do not get out of this trade. All right. Things are still good here. All right. Chevron is still cooking. I'm not going to go through all. I'm just watching the big three, and that's the ones I've been talking about. Exxon, Exxon. With the shooter down day yesterday, we could have been buying it down at 164. It's one for $167. But this one, believe it or not, we are going to be inside day now, but we're very close. All right. And then the ConocoPhillips. All right. Continuation, another shooter back down, and where we at yesterday's highs were 132.31. We're trading higher here. We're taking another day up on ConocoPhillips. All right. I keep my world a little shrinkage a little bit. So right now, those are the three, and I'm watching the crude. All right. So more war coming our way. We've been talking about it. My utilities, they're a little, they rejected the week on XLU and then kind of gave us a 2 day snub. So we'll see what happens with that. We did take the week up, but again, it rejected and it come back inside. All right, so this is why we watch to see on the bigger turn. When we make the bigger turn, this is where the rubber meets the road. All right. So on your month here, guys. All right. I know you can't see that month right now, but I'll flip it for you. So here we are on our month. Now we didn't really adjust too much on the month. If I could get it to come up. All right. So we didn't really move too much on there, but it was the move on the days is what created what happened here. All right, so we talked about the 2-1-2. It's going to go back up. We should get the month green. I believe we might have flipped it up to green there at 44.28. All right. Oh, for sure we did. We were at 44.67. So we actually on the next 2 days we hit the mark on it, and then we rejected, and then they came back down with the 2 day down. All right, so here we are today now, 43.79. All right, so you're going to be inside day on this one here. All right, around yesterday's lows too. All right, and it's not really showing me much here this morning. I'm seeing 43.80, a little bit lower. So just be patient with this. Um, Energy's kind of taking over most of the room here. All right, so 2-2 back down on the dailies. If you're in that trade, there's no reason for you to really get out here. Well, let's see what it takes out on this. If we need to get back inside here today and see if we can do some fighting in there. Okay. So XLU, we'll keep an eye on that one, on those as well. We got tech just kind of falling apart all over the place. This is good, and I got one that we've been watching over here, BMNR. This one of the guys in the room here picked this one up, and this one was pretty nice. Yesterday, we were watching yesterday, so this was yesterday's day. All right, got up to 2087. Kind of, kind of surrendered at the end. This was your. It's better to look at the 30 on it on a real day. Kind of crapped out at the end of the day, and then you got a big two that came back at the end, and now this morning we're getting a gapper to 2173. All right, this thing broke out on every time frame to the upside simultaneously. So keep an eye on this one. There might be more room in this thing. It is up to 2172. It's going to take that day up. All right, so we'll see. It might be getting a little pricey here, or it just might be the start of something greater. So I wouldn't go running after it here right now, but it's one you should keep an eye on. All right, so Walmart kind of misses on Rev. Earnings were okay, but they kind of missed on Rev. So Walmart is getting punished, and I see them already trying to fight back here to 114.50. So yesterday's lows were 113.96. All right, but 107 now, guys. We got down to 105.89, 105.89. All right, so be patient with the Walmart. We'll see what happens with that one. All right, so kind of a little bit of a knockout, a little bit there. All right, so Walmart, sort of a miss of sorts. Okay, and then let's look at some of the. Here's your Marvel coming back down again now. Just continuation to the downside. Here's your monthly. You guys see the week here. So the week's going to come back in a little bit at 229. All right. So we're not destroying the month or anything like that. We're just slightly lower here this morning, back down to 230. We closed, so we're down about $7 or $8 here on Marvel. SNDK going lower a little bit now, 1538. All right, so we're down to 1538 now. We're looking for 15. We're basically at 1500. That's where we're looking at. We like between 1500 and 1520. I think that's kind of where we're living at now, and we're going to see if we do start to break 15 or at least get down to 15, and let's see what the weather looks like down there. All right, but lower again this morning with the SanDisk. Closed at 1568, trading 1534. All right, Micron coming back down here as well now, back down to 921 here. Yesterday's highs were 960 on the button, and here we are trading at 922, down about $48 this morning. All right, so Micron still lower. The Mag 7 is falling apart. It's just like it's starting to get to this capitulation area, because we are starting to see them all tumble now. So I didn't really look too much, and we look at so I'm looking at the semis on that, and then I'm also going to look at Intel. Again, I shrink my world. INTC. Intel is back down to $91. Triangle out again, coming back down. All right. So 91.45. Yesterday's lows were at 91.10. So slightly about 30 cents lower from where we closed. So Intel, little under pressure still here. Tesla was running really nice yesterday. And Tesla had a nice day up yesterday, and the week is good. All right, the month is good, and here we are back into 344. We're not nothing terrible, but we're back inside here. All right, so we're going to be opening inside day, and we're going to be stuck firmly inside that day. All right, so Tesla's lower this morning here. The whole crew. All right, Nvidia is back that closed at 217, trading at 216 right now. Not too much there. All right, on Nvidia. So yesterday's highs, and you had that big outside day, that big red outside day, 222.98 down to 216 this morning. So more pressure on the Mag 7. Amazon is coming down here. Once it filled that gap, I think it just decided that maybe it wanted to take some more to the downside too. And we kind of were on that one too. All right, but coming back down to 263. This was the gap day. So we're still trying to fill this gap, and we haven't done it yet. 239, still going to be a reach to get to that. But Amazon is lower again this morning at 263, and that is going to be opening inside day on Amazon. All right, so it was lower there yesterday. Apple, I think, will still fight out of the hole. I wish it would go to 296, but now she beefed up yesterday. In the last 2 days, she all of a sudden, really stepped her game up again after like stalling out, as you can see, and then that popped up, and now she's holding up pretty good here, 317.90 right now. So Apple probably is the creme de la creme of the Mag 7. All right, Meta, kind of being helped with this communications group a little bit, but Meta down here again this morning at 544. Yesterday's lows were 538. We're going to be inside day there on Meta, and Google's just been a mess, just all together. The Goog is just it's just been, as you see it, man. All right, here's your weeks, chopping. I don't know how Google gets out of this mess right now. All right, so and then let's look at some of the cloud guys. Right, there's Oracle. All right, Oracle. What do you got for me this morning here? I hate when these stupid things go off. Okay, so coming back down right now on Oracle, yesterday's lows were 137.30. You're going to be handily inside there, 140, 142.40. Watch this guy here, MDB, Mondagab, Mother David George, MDB. All right. Coming back, where we yesterday's lows were 424.72. We're trading at 437. All right, so better on the Mondagab. Watch out for the cloud fares. All right, and then IBM is in that group. All right, and what are you doing? IBM coming back up, or at least going to be inside day, that's for sure. 236.09. So that's pretty good, close to yesterday's highs on IBM. Salesforce is in that same group. All right, Salesforce moving back down here on the overnight, but getting closer as we start to get close to the opening. It's only 7:36 a.m. All right, Salesforce puts up a brilliant day yesterday, and now she's going to be what, 20? We got down to 203.96. So 203.96, you're going to be handily inside, guys, somewhere up around here on Salesforce. All right. What else do I got? Did I look at those? I look at net, NET. Don't go fishing without a net. Coming back down here right now. 289.49. Yesterday's lows were 285, so you're inside day. So it looks like the cloud fares are hanging in there, probably the best right now out of the group. IREN is another one you should watch. IREN, a little bit lower here now. Had this big move to the upside here and then just jerked around until the break came here. And then yesterday they came back and they made a stand. So yesterday's highs were 43.49, which 42.50 inside. All right. So a lot of these things are all going to be inside day. John Deere, I'm seeing here on the screen now popping up a little higher here. John Deere and the industrials have been garbage. But I'm seeing John Deere here up $13 this morning, and it hit the earnings, but it kind of missed on revenue a little bit. But it looks like it's better here this morning on John Deere. This one just popped up in my screen. So yesterday's lows were 579. We're at 595. All right, so we're close to taking day up here. 596. All right, very close on John Deere. All right, and then we'll take a look at the XLIs. Futures are down across the board here, lowers too. I see diamonds are trying to fight back up a little bit. Industrials 2-2 back down. Stick with the healthcare. This was a big turnaround. And it's only been really a 2-day thing. The three kind of triggered this move to the upside. And here we are at got up to 176.60 on the 4-hour, but that was yesterday's highs. And here we are at 174.49. All right, the big play yesterday was Marna and Merck. All right, and that lifted the entire group up. And now we see what Marna's going to do today. I think you're going to be inside day more than likely. All right, so $160 right now. All right, so Marna, we'll keep an eye on that one. Stick with your energies. I think them utilities might be a little iffy here right now. All right, it seems like everybody, all the momentum is going to be going into the war now, and this is like I'm gonna keep saying it again. This thing ain't gonna end. All right, this thing ain't gonna end. All right, and it's gonna get worse before it gets better. All right, so stick with the crude, stick with the energies. All right, that's what's moving right now. You got full time frame. You got Walmart pooping out. All right, Walmart couldn't even get their numbers. So we'll see what happens there. Staples should get better with all this business. But again, I've said this many times. If things get really crappy, XLP will go down too. Okay, so we'll see what happens there. XLC Communications, kind of like all the sectors have kind of like gone into hiding here. So what I think you got to look for is you got to look for the healthcares, see if they can hold up. All right, because two stocks ain't going to hold them up forever. But we'll see what happens with the XLVs. And then here's XLC Communications. These have been coming back down. One stock that I would look at, and this one is Siri. Siri Satellite. This thing has gotten creamed back to the downside. I'm watching this one because this one's a really good, and I think that one will get back up before we finish out. Looking across the board here on my what happened here? They touched my stuff. All right, looking at the SPX right now, we're at 77.07. Okay, that's where we closed out. And if we want to get a good read on it, we'll go to the ESs. All right, and see what. So we're down 41 bucks right now. The Nasdaq is down. Last I looked, it was 144 points to the downside, and then I got the Russell down 16 bucks, and I got the diamonds. The diamonds look to close opening somewhere around 280 points to the downside. ES is coming back down 76.80. All right, so on the ESs. We'll see what's starting to lift here a little bit off the lows, but we just made that low now at 76.80 on the SPX on the cash. All right, the Qs. You see what's going on, right? Tech is taking a hit, so coming down, trying to get a little relief here now, but down to 710 now, guys, 710. So we were talking about this 2-2 move down, and now we're going to get a third day down. The markets have been so strong. I've seen this move go, with the 2-2-2 down, and then in 2 days they come back and they rip it right back up. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult than that this time, I think. It's just going to take more time. SPY, again, shooter day down here, taking another leg down here at 764. All right, so we continue to move lower here. We're trying to get out through like this whole mess here right now, and 764 is definitely going to help us get there. And then our next stop would be 759.99. All right, so stick with the energy. Stick with the energy. I think those utilities should be better, but I'd be on pause with these right now. Just see what you're doing here. Watch the crude, all right, and watch the Chevrons, the Exxons, and the ConocoPhillips. And I think that's where we're going to be. All right. So I'm seeing Google trying to pap out. You're starting to see as we get closer here. I'm starting to see some buyers step in here at Amazon. Apple starts to fall. So now they're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's so you got to take some money away from some other guys, and now the energy is sucking up all the money, and then that's why you're seeing the tech fall. All right, so that's it. That's all I got for this morning, and we'll see what this day is going to bring. All right, be good.